A documentary that is published because of the heavy violence forced on us African Americans.
As an African American student, I found that it's very hard to make a living. There were children who couldn't go to certain schools because of their skin color. Yeah, there were people that didn't have the certain academic requirements, but for those who did, for the ones who were above and beyond, there is no one who is stupid or retarded, but you are smarter than what you think you are. Though it was in 1960 when all the schools were desegregated, there were two cases that helped begin the change and or inspired them to even think about making a change. Let me begin. These cases were one of the many cases that would help stop and end most racism in the United States. The Plessy versus Ferguson case started in the state of Louisiana in the year 1852. The city was New Orleans. The violence was really started by the Ku Klux Klan. Many blacks were scared to fight for their rights because the threat of death usually struck their minds. Then one day, a man, not a famous man or a civil rights leader, tried to make a change. His name was Homer Plessy. He was an average African American. However, he was a fair complexion. Those days, the lighter you were, the better thing was for you. So the lighter had more rights than the darker skinned people. But Homer Plessy decided not to use his skin complexion to his advantage. He started to ride trains and buy cars from places he was not supposed to. Therefore, he was sent to a jail on June 7, 1852, until he was put on trial. The judges were all white. Then, in those years, it was hard for an African American to receive justice when there was an all-white judge. But the judge that hated blacks the most and had the most effect on all the other judges was John Marshall. John Marshall at the time was 68. Homer Plessy was sentenced to death and received the electric chair penalty in the year of 1896. Saying that Homer Plessy has an unfair advantage because of the heavy amount of racism that was going on after the war. Now, let's talk about the case that was equally the same. The case was the Ruby Bridges case. This case was equally the same because Ruby Bridges was a little African-American girl with a lot of academic potential. One day, in the state of California, her mother believed she could be admitted to an all-white school, but the school rejected her because of her skin color. Ruby's mother felt as if that was a wrong, and she took the school board to court, not just any court, the Supreme Court. The Bridges family won the case, and the school board would not have segregated schools anymore. On November 14, 1960, that morning, Ruby and her mother was escorted by the police to William Franks Elementary School. That morning, she was surrounded by angry whites, rioting around her. Often, Ruby would write to herself or do whatever to make herself feel welcome. But after 3 weeks later, she noticed that the kids were being sent back to school. They were sent back to school because the parents of the white kids knew that nothing was going to change and the schools would stay desegregated. She actually graduated from that school and went to another white junior high school, but this time she wasn't hated or attacked by racial slurs or insulting jokes. Now, 60 years later, Ruby still remembered the hardship she's faced. She still talks about it and makes public appearances around the world.